it's something out of a horror movie because you see her go in and you want to tell her, don't go, because you know what's going to happen.
In 2016, the killing of Missy Bevers shook the Dallas metro area.
Police are trying to figure out why somebody dressed as a police officer ambushed and murdered a fitness instructor. Mother and fitness trainer Terry Missy Bevers was murdered inside a Midlothian church.
She was a great woman, a great wife, a great mother, a great friend.
Security cameras at the church captured Missy's murder in terrifying detail. But 10 years later, police still don't have a suspect. Rumors are flying, and people are still demanding answers.
I don't give a crap if she had 15 affairs with 15 different men. That is not an open invitation to murder someone. Somebody needs to pay for it.
This is The Unforgotten. Who Killed Missy Bevers? Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome to Season 4 of The Unforgotten, Kill Site. I'm your host, Wes Ferguson, and this is a bonus episode called Christopher's Body. This one is going to be extremely short, but it's important, so I didn't want to wait around and maybe try to do a longer episode later. And also, before we dive in too deep, I want to let you know that if you stick around to the end of the episode, we are going to share the teaser for Season 6 of The Unforgotten, which is coming out in just a couple of weeks. Do you remember way back to December 2020? That's the night sheriff's deputies found the body of Christopher Allen Whiteley in the woods near a trailer house in Hood County, Texas. In episode 2 and again in episode 8, I mentioned something that I'd read in a report that was prepared by Sheriff's Deputy Daniel Martin. Deputy Martin and his partner, Deputy Looper, were the ones who made that welfare check when Christopher's friend, Polly, reported him missing, but Christopher's girlfriend allegedly refused to go looking for him. As you probably remember, the sheriff's office pinged Christopher's phone, and they ended up following that trail of blood that led to Christopher's body underneath a lot of brush, and his throat was ripped open. That is horrifying enough, but I was also pretty shocked to read that sheriff's personnel, the ones who responded to the kill site, supposedly went home and left Christopher's body in the woods, unsecured. Like, why would you ever do that? Especially if you think a man-eating mountain lion is out there on the prowl. Here's reporter Charlie Scudder reading that part of Deputy Martin's report.
All other units began to leave the scene. Deputy Looper, Sergeant Calder, and I stated that we could stay with the body and keep the scene secure. After some time passed, Sergeant Calder asked Investigator Zamaron if they were coming back to the scene, and Investigator Zamaron advised Sergeant Calder that he had, quote, dropped a pin, quote, on the location and advised that we could clear the scene, leaving the body unsecure. Sergeant Calder checked with another investigator that advised the same thing. Sergeant Calder, Deputy Looper, and I then cleared the scene.
But here's the deal. I actually just heard from somebody who listened to the podcast and has very close ties to the Hood County Sheriff's Office. And this person says we got this detail wrong. Yes, investigators said they dropped a pin and would come back for the body later, but after they came up with that plan, this person says they came to their senses. Somebody tracked down a four-wheeler and the local volunteer fire department actually helped the sheriff's office remove Christopher's body from the woods the same night they found him, not the next morning. Like I said, I was pretty scandalized by the idea that the sheriff's office would have just left Christopher's body in the woods. To me, that seemed like more evidence that they really just weren't taking Christopher's death all that seriously. Leave him out there, it's late, who cares? And I can't imagine what hearing that might feel like to the people who loved Christopher the most. His family, his mom and dad. So I just wanted to take a minute to set that record straight. You know, I've been a journalist for a really long time, and I've made a lot of mistakes, but I always hate when mistakes like this slip through in my reporting. The thing was, I really just had those reports to go from, since hardly anybody in law enforcement would talk to me about this case. I have no idea why Deputy Martin didn't update those details in his report, but Now that I think about it, maybe he did leave that night and other people removed Christopher's body later on. I just don't know. It didn't come up with any of the other reports that Charlie and I gathered through our public information requests with Hood County. Anyway, I'm just really grateful to this person who reached out and took time out of their day to tell me what really happened. They didn't want to be interviewed on the record, and I get that. Normally, I try to steer clear of letting people talk off the record, but this person definitely didn't have an axe to grind, and they had no reason to make any of this stuff up. We did chat online about a few other things, and they did have some interesting stuff to say. They said a lot of people in the sheriff's office believe Christopher Whiteley really was murdered, but they don't know who the real killer was. And I take it that no one is really trying to find out who that might be. But people in the sheriff's office, for the most part, also don't buy the whole mountain lion theory, which was the whole reason the sheriff's office closed their investigation in the first place. Oh, and this person also said that people in the sheriff's office learned a lot more about Christopher's case just from listening to our podcast, which was gratifying to hear. The last bit of information that this person shared was their belief that there really is a mountain lion in Hood County, and they've seen it. Of course, this contradicts everything that Texas Parks and Wildlife says about mountain lions in Hood County. TPWD says there have been no confirmed sightings of mountain lions, also known as cougars or panthers or catamounts. But, that's really controversial, and it's something that we got into a lot throughout the season. A lot of times people think they've seen a mountain lion, but it turns out to be a bobcat or a big house cat or even a dog, believe it or not. I'm sure that sometimes people really do see a mountain lion, but then it can't be confirmed by Parks and Wildlife, so it doesn't count for their official records. We do know that mountain lions, especially males, can roam across really far distances, and given that people are seeing them more and more throughout the state, it's really not that far-fetched to think that a cougar may have made its way through Hood County at some point. In fact, that's almost a given. That said, I will just repeat that there was absolutely no evidence ever for a mountain lion where Christopher was killed. No tracks, no signs of a struggle. So whether there was a mountain lion or not somewhere in the county is kind of beside the point. Again, I'm just really grateful to this person for reaching out, for setting the record straight about when Christopher's body was moved out of the woods. And I'll also repeat that if anybody else has real information about Christopher's death, I would love to talk to you, and I'm easy to find. Or you could reach out directly to law enforcement. I don't know if that would be Hood County Sheriff's Office or maybe the Texas Rangers. I don't know. I also hope this update will get back to Christopher's family. Okay, so that's it for now on Christopher Whiteley's case. While I've got you, I also want to let you know that we are getting all set to release Season 6 of The Unforgotten. This one is going to be called Who Killed Missy Beavers? I'm sure that name will stand out to a lot of you right now. Whether you are a true crime listener or you just pay attention to serious crimes in the Dallas area, it's probably the most notorious unsolved murder maybe in all of Texas over the last decade. Our host for this season is Zoe Culkin. Zoe is an audio producer who normally works with much bigger places like Sony and iHeart and this 48 Hours podcast called Case by Case. And we are extremely lucky to have her digging into Missy Beavers' investigation. And I will also just say that Missy Beavers' case is the number one topic that y'all have asked us to look into here at The Unforgotten. Zoe has already finished the first 4 episodes, so keep an eye out for the season to start here pretty quick. We're planning to share episode 1 on June 1st. And if you stick around after the credits, you will be the first to hear our new trailer. The Unforgotten is a free-range production. Season 4, Kill Site, was produced in association with the Dallas Morning News. This episode was edited by Aislinn Gaddis. Our theme music is by Austin Sisler. Charlie Scudder and I are executive producers. Thank you for listening, and I also want to thank Charlie for all the work he did on this story, both way back in the day and also when we revisited the topic this spring. I'll talk to you soon.
It's something out of a horror movie because you see her go in and you want to tell her, don't go. because you know what's going to happen.
In 2016, the killing of Missy Beavers shook the Dallas metro area.
Police are trying to figure out why somebody dressed as a police officer ambushed and murdered a fitness instructor. Mother and fitness trainer Terry Missy Beavers was murdered inside a Midlothian church.
She was a great woman, a great wife, a great mother, a great friend.
Security cameras at the church captured Missy's murder in terrifying detail. But 10 years later, police still don't have a suspect. Rumors are flying, and people are still demanding answers.
I don't give a crap if she had 15 affairs with 15 different men. That is not an open invitation to murder someone. Somebody needs to pay for it.
This is The Unforgotten: Who Killed Missy Beavers? Listen wherever you get your podcasts.